Welcome to the Dorm Room to Boardroom podcast, episode number 2. This time we're doing it right. We got a new setup, keeping it authentic. We have a very special guest here today. Charlie, take it away.
Yeah, so this kid, just classic entrepreneur, has run a supplement company. Now he's doing chocolate. He's president of E-Tower, but we're going to talk about all that. Without further ado, Daniel Rillet. I was into the honor. I excited to be here. Oh, yeah.
Guest number 2. Like I said, we have a new setup. Daniel, why don't you start it off? We got it right in front of us. Let's start.
Why don't you crack one open? Should we crack one open?
Already?
Let's do it.
I'm ready. I'm excited. So while we're doing that, tell us a little bit about how you even got into chocolate, let alone Dirty Gut, and now where you're at now. Give us a little backstory, okay, and then we'll get into the weeds of it as we can continue on our conversation. But give us a quick little backstory.
So I grew up as a kid, just completely chopped and overweight. I was really overweight. I think I'm like 185 pounds now. I was 200 at Bucky, but probably 7 inches shorter than I am now.
Oh, wow.
So you could do like, my older brother used to say I was a blueberry. So that was like but anyway, about 8 years ago, one night I was like, I'm going to get shape. And so I spent that entire summer, it was going to 8th grade, losing 40 pounds. And that made me really passionate about health and wellness and food in general, and like eating proper foods to nourish your body.
You said 8th grade?
Yeah, I going to 8th grade pretty early. It was like a nice little glow going to 8th grade, yeah. And so I do that, and then I kind of carry that passion through in like a couple different areas. Growing up, I used to play basketball a lot, like in high school, middle school. So that was like the initial thing. Like I was able to be a lot better at basketball now that I was like a bowling ball or a court.
Where are you from?
I'm from Annapolis, Maryland, so like the Naval Academy area. Yeah. So I did that, and then I got to Babson my freshman year. I came in. I was running this supplement company called Performance Bags. It was a sleep and recovery supplement for athletes, and this kind of came from my passion for basketball. I played basketball all year, but it wasn't. I didn't really know anything at the time. And I did that for about a year. I was like, okay, like I already.
How did you like develop that while you were in high school? Like I feel like because I wanted to start a supplement company, and
It's popular now.
I tried like getting into it, and I'm like, I don't have like a freaking lab to like test things and like get it like backed by nutrition and all that stuff. So
It was a senior year project, so I did it the entire year. It was kind of sus. Like I would buy powders and mix up the powders, and like I'd bring them to school and like give them to my friends to try.
Yeah.
And like the people running the project to be like, you better not be like making samples and giving them out. I was never. Don't worry.
Well, did you have any success in this? Like, where you actually sell?
A little bit. I mean, not really. Like nothing. Like it feels very minuscule now.
Yeah. Well, now you're.
Well, I mean, this is still smaller too, right? But like in comparison, it just feels smaller. Okay, I feel like I was thinking small.
All right, supplement company coming to college. Yeah. Where's the transition happen?
So then it's the end of my sophomore year, and I'm like, all right, like I'm done doing this. I had pitched at this pitch competition that we did with an E-Tower at Babson, and the judge was like, we think you can probably make a lot of money doing this, but it seems like your heart's in the wrong place. Wow. And it's never going to be that big. Okay? It's like, you're probably, yeah. Well, it definitely killed the confidence, and I kind of processed that for a few months, and I was like, he's probably right. Like I could probably do something a bit better. Like it was almost a compliment. Like he was saying he thought I could do something bigger, and so I started thinking about what I could do next. And I first was gonna make a new sleep supplement. It was gonna be this frothy sleep latte for Starbucks girls called Newer. It was like the most like stereotypical packaging, and I'm starting to do that, and then. All of a sudden, I started looking into the chocolate industry, and I realized that pretty much the same chocolate you buy today is about the same as like what your great grandparents would buy 100 years ago. Highly processed sugar, cocoa, milk powder, and then a slurry of unnecessary additives that you don't need in chocolate, like PGPR. Brian, no idea what that is.
No idea.
Okay, somebody up.
Definitely do all of this hell, right? And I was like, okay, well, why don't I just make something that's much healthier? Mm-hmm. And so that kind of set in motion in about June of 2024. And so I spent the rest of that summer formulating the products, getting an initial recipe, and there was a lot of like logistics that went into the manufacturing, figuring out how to get it made. And I launched that first version that you see right there in April of this year into a lot of local retail stores, like your aunt's retail store.
Yeah, that was I should talk about that. So, for everyone out there, when I reached out to Dan, I was like, "Hey, as sick chocolate company, like he'd be a great guest." And he responds like, "Yeah, I'm actually in your aunt uncle's shop." I'm like, "What?" Because they have a shop. Like,
So just to touch on that, how like explain that process? Just at his aunt's store, but and
mineral ice.
in general, what is it like getting into retail shops? How hard is that? How easy is it? Connections? Just explain that a little bit.
That was funny because I assumed you already had known when I
No idea. No idea. Just hilarious.
So with Fells Market, which is your aunt's store, she was so nice. I walked in, I think this was probably right after it launched in April. So I launched them on April 1st, maybe walked in there April 2nd. And I go in, I just had a case that I gave her a sample. She didn't even try it. I was like, I go to Babson. She told me about you. And then I was like, she's like, okay, we'll buy a case. I was like, okay, awesome. So I went out to my car. I brought a case of chocolate in. She gave me a check.
Was that your first retail?
I think she was my third retail store.
That's awesome.
I have a question. Walking into that door, are you nervous? Are you excited? Like, how do you even? I don't like.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It was a bit of nerves. I would say the first store that I ever went into, I was way more nervous. And then I realized it's just not that deep. And since that really is not that deep. And so when I started, like, by the third store, I was still a little bit nervous, but I had much more confidence that I could do this and that it wasn't. Like, at first, it feels kind of weird to go up to the cashier and be like, is your store manager here that I could talk to?
Yeah.
But, like, I felt comfortable doing that. So it was... You know, it felt good. Like, it was cool to go in there, and then when she's like, we'll buy some, I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
Set up and everything.
Is this a one-man show?
I mean, day to day, it's fun, man. I would say I've been lucky enough to have, like, a lot of really good advisors who helped me. I don't think I've been able to get to the point where I am now without them. Like, they helped me a lot whenever I had any questions. And I obviously hire contractors and freelancers and stuff like that to help, too, but day to day is just me. Yeah.
So you had Brock do some content for you.
Yeah, Brock would love it. Let's film some videos. Some street ads.
So, obviously, we're still in school, and you're a senior, right? Right. Yeah. What is it like managing school and running a business? Because I know he does it. I do a little bit of it. It's not easy, and you're doing it at a way bigger scale than us.
Yeah.
So, how do you manage them?
So when I came to Babson, I knew that by the time I was a senior, I wanted to be able to graduate, be running my own goal. Yeah. And so
you had on credits?
Yeah, I got ahead on credits purposely pretty early. So this year I'm only taking two classes this semester. And like you can kind of pick and choose which classes it's not that difficult, and then you get it. So it hasn't been like that hard from an academic standpoint. I think it's honestly been more fun doing it while in school because you get to meet so many people and make connections with so many people, and like I can just walk out of my room and be like, you want to try this new sample of like this new flavor? And you can't really do that like being at home. Yeah. It's really fun. Like I really enjoy it. I'm glad I did. I'm not miss like not getting a year. Yeah. As I'm sure B probably will too.
No, same way. It's such an interesting position for kind of doing their own thing in school. Is almost like a side gig in a way. Yeah. And it's like people will come up to you and why be like, oh, what homework are you working on? And like, oh, just work. And it's like my class of I'm like, just work stuff. And they're all like, oh, like, what do you do? And I'm like, bro, it's getting killed. Like, 10-minute conversation about like what I did for work, and it's the same.
I think that's a good transition. Now that we are graduating soon, what are your post-grad plans? I'm guessing it's full-time Dirty Gut, and then like expansion options, stuff like that.
Yeah, so when I graduate, I'll definitely be working on that. The plan going to next year, so in January, we're launching a complete product line. I would say this has been almost like a soft launch or test launch of the product. In January, we're coming out with a new and improved version of the dark chocolate and then 2 additional flavors. So it's really more of like the actual product line to sell into stores. And so the focus next year will be blowing this up on TikTok.
Yeah. I could maybe have it out. Yeah.
And then also trying to make a much bigger push into big retail stores.
Do you guys have like full chocolate bars, full size chocolate bars?
Or not yet. Is that in the works? In the future. I think maybe end of 2026, 2027. Okay. But the focus for now is the bites.
Dude, I mean, the brand's great.
Like, thank you.
No, it was sick.
It's so fire.
I genuinely get ads on my Instagram for Dirty Gut. Like, I will see that on my Instagram.
It was funny. It was actually through a Babson connection. One of my good friends at Babson, his cousin works at this company. It's like a data platform.
Yeah.
And so they are they basically want to test their data platform. So they are paying for these ads, but they're also creating them too. So you see like a lot of them are very it's very like AI
No, yeah. I mean,
but it's been spamming everyone at Babson.
well, I think it's like it goes like yeah, it must be like geography based.
Well, I think because I know people at Babson, then it's the algorithm. Babson will interact with it. It's like that. It's Babson people who are like,
I remember when I looked into it for the pod, I was like, "Oh, see what target." But like the next day, I'm like getting asked about it. Targeting me.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question. So the whole point or the whole thesis is that it's a healthy option for chocolate. Can you go a little more in depth on what actually makes this better than a Hershey or something along those lines?
yeah. So there's two pieces. One is this is what I kind of alluded to earlier, but Hershey bars are disgusting. The number one ingredient is sugar, highly processed cane sugar, and then they use some chocolate. So I believe it's 12% cocoa, which is literally like that's the lowest it can be to even be considered a chocolate bar.
And night.
In Canada, the lowest it's allowed to be is like 35%. So if you get a Hershey bar in Canada, it's going to taste much better. But they use that. They use a slurry of all these other additives like PGPR, which is basically like an oil, a very cheap oil that replaces cocoa butter.
Yeah.
And it's sloppy. It's really sloppy. And so what I do is I take out all those disgusting ingredients and use more like real chocolate versus these fillers and additives. And also use better for you substitutes. Like I use coconut sugar instead of the highly processed cane sugar. And then the other piece is that, particularly with the new line that's coming out in February, it's a bit of a improved formula. There's 1 billion live probiotics and energies, which are generally just good for your overall gut health. Your health starts with your gut. And then 2 grams of fiber for keys. So we add in a blend of 3 different fibers. And because of the fibers are naturally sweet off the fibers, we're able to reduce the sugar. So you get this 3-pronged benefit where it has live probiotics, more fiber, and less sugar.
And look, the whole time you were saying that, I was just thinking about how my mom would love because she like, but a lot of moms like dark chocolate.
Yeah. Honestly, my mom would eat this.
Yeah, and like the whole health pitch is just perfect.
I think you should try it.
Oh yeah, let's try it. I've been having it here. I'm ready to try it. How often do you eat your own chocolate?
That's tough. It's got a bite out of it.
Lately, I haven't actually had this one in a couple weeks because I've been trying out the new samples of the new flavors coming out. So like that's my daily like chocolate alamets.
Okay, nice.
I haven't wanted to eat. You're after like you really go.
I've been trying it, but
I'd say if you think that one's good, the new one coming out is like for probably like twice as good. It's really good. Yeah, it's really the one newer.
I actually think it's Booby Steer.
But I think it's a solid base.
Yeah. Because I like dark chocolate. Like, and some people hate it. Some people are like dark chocolate haters. So, yeah. One thing I saw you did that's really good
is originally they were like clear, right? So we'll don't worry about it. Actually, maybe tell us the story. So I'll tell people like what I was asking. Yeah, it's just in a clear.
So originally when it launched, instead of being in those like blue wrappers, it was in these clear,
like a lifesaver almost. Like
yeah. So I had ordered those wrappers originally, these nice blue ones, and there's this thing on a wrapper called an eye mark. It's basically this black dot and then a white line that shows the haptic machine where it's where it's actually wrapped the chocolate. And the eye mark and the runway were in the wrong place on the packet on the wrapper, and so that meant the packaging machine didn't know how to wrap it correctly. And I basically just had to throw away $4,000 of these wrappers because they weren't going to be able to use them And so I had two options. One was to wait another month to get more wrappers produced and delay the launch even more, which I was already like shaking in my boots to get it out because I thought it was going to be ready in October, and it was April or March. Where the other option was to use the clear plastic. So I was like, I might as well just get it out there and launch with the clear plastic, and then I can get these later now. So, and those are also, that's another thing. Those are also wrong as well.
Really? How are they wrong?
They're supposed to be a metal liner on the inside.
Meaning?
Like a metallic liner.
Yeah, oh. But, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to get out. I think this looks really good, honestly.
Yeah.
My next question is, what is it like running a business, being an entrepreneur, and something like that happening, like an obstacle? How do you stay, like, motivated and passionate, and are some days bad and are some days good, or always feeling great? Like,
No, it's just constant setbacks.
Yeah, I would say I'm like always feeling great, but when stuff like that happens, I just find it funny. It's like what, that's very positive. There's not anything you can do about it. Like once it's already done. And I'd say so, like, it's interesting because you probably see this too. Like some days are absolutely amazing. Oh, like you feel on top of the world, and some days you're like, I guess like
should I just like, get a job?
You're like, I don't even want to open my computer right now.
yeah, it's just like what am I even doing today? I don't know. In general, I really enjoy it, and even when stuff like that happens, like I'm just like, all right, like whatever, I'll figure it out. You know?
Yeah, I love it. It's super cool, and I think this would absolutely crush on TikTok Shop. Just like looking at the branding, looking at like the name, and it's healthy. Like, dude, health is such a big thing on TikTok Shop, and you got all these like gut clays. This is that, and it's like it is literally chocolate that tastes good. I'm just saying.
Do you have a coolest story? Maybe you met someone you never thought you'd meet. Maybe you're in a supermarket that you used to go in when you were a kid. Or maybe it's like presenting on a podcast. Do you have one story that
Stands out.
Yeah.
Amongst the rest.
Because you definitely met some cool people. Yeah. Seeing it on shelves has to be pretty sweet.
That's tough because I think it's hard to like pick one that was particularly cool. I think the one that like felt the best was when I got into Volante bars, just because I had it. I go to Volante Farm, which is a store in Wellesley, by Babson all the time. Probably once or twice a week.
You guys are in Volante?
Yeah, that was the first, or that was the second store, and like just seeing that on the shelf was a pretty cool story, or just pretty good feeling. The other one I would say is, so Babson has this big competition every year called Data Challenge, and I'd say like, are you familiar with Olipop or Poppy?
Yes.
So it's basically the soda equivalent of Dirty Gum, and they've grown ginormous. Like Poppy sold for $2 billion earlier this year, and there are two companies that I really, really look up to, like what they've been able to do, because it's like the same thing almost, but in a different category.
Every single one of our friends that are girls treat those.
Yeah, Tom and Dale. Yeah, they're obsessed. And when I pitched the Beta Challenge, it's like pitch competition at Babson. I go to sit in my seat, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, hey Daniel, I work at Alibaba. Here's my business card. I was like, oh, what? Yeah. And it turns out he was a Babson alum, and he is one of the VP of sales in Alibaba. Really amazing, just really, really nice guy. A wealth of knowledge, and has so many industry connections. And he ended up being, like, he met the next day, he ended up being an investor and advisor now in the company. And that was just cool because he was like the exact person that I wanted to meet. And he just spawned on me that day after the Beta Challenge.
Yeah, to mine town I was big.
Right, you touched on it there, like, very briefly. I don't know if you want to talk about it. You don't have to. But do you have outside investors? I know you just said you do with it. No, but, like, do you have a lot? Is it, how does that work? How do you meet these people? You don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but I'm curious what that looks like. And then more long-term visions, like, eventually do you want to sell to, like, not Hershey, because your whole brand is, again, for Hershey, but like, what's that long-term vision look like? And then day to day, do you have investors, and how does that look?
So I do have some outside investors. A lot of times the way I've met them is just I developed relationships with them over the years. Like I've met them at something like the Babe Challenge that you develop relationship with the gentleman from volleyball. Sometimes people who I know their networks who come in. I think long term, and my focus right now is on building a really big, impactful business. I think like because I'm fundraising, like the realistic outcome is that it would sell to somebody at some point, maybe in like the next 5 to 10 years. But right now I'm just kind of focusing on like build everything I can do today to make this into a very big impactful company.
Yeah, that's so cool. When you came to Babson, you said you always knew you wanted to build your own business. Did you ever think you'd be where you're at right now? I know you said you were ahead on classes on purpose because you knew senior year one, but this is like, when you look at this, you would think it's probably like, maybe there's like 50 to 100 employees. They've been in business for 20 years. This is like very solid base for a year, a little over than a year. Did you believe that you'd be here right now? Where you're at? The progress you're not having?
Hey, I would say like I always thought I'd be doing something, but it was hard to ever imagine being in the actual position. Like, I knew I was going to be running a business when I graduated, but it was very difficult to think about what that would look like or what that would feel like. And so, although I always had the vision of doing that, like I could never really imagine. It was not something tangible. But but I couldn't see in my head what that would look like.
Yeah. For me, it's like the opposite. Thinking I'm going to play basketball and get a job.
Basketball didn't work out. You play intramurals?
I do sometimes. Like we're fading the game tonight for the
Besides Dirty Gut, what do you like to do?
Yeah.
I'm big. I say the biggest passion. I like going to the gym. Unfortunately, this semester has been completely faded. I was looking at my workout calendar last night. It's just workout history is really bad. But I enjoy that. I enjoy golfing. I'm decent at golfing. I really like cooking. I've been retiring doing that. And then also just my best thing is just hanging out with my friends. I love doing that. Or when I'm home, going out or boats, in the water. I like being outdoors, serious and it's nature.
You grew up in Maryland, you said?
Yeah.
What was that like? Maryland compared to Massachusetts?
It's honestly pretty similar. Yeah, it's where Babson is. I feel like I'm in a pretty somewhat similar environment. I like Maryland a bit more than Massachusetts, and that there's more stuff to do. Outside. I feel like Massachusetts, it's just, especially now, it's literally just cold. There's nothing else going on.
It's freezing.
Whereas home, I just like being outside. There's lots of cool.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have an older brother and a younger brother.
Nice. Do they consume Dirty Gut? In your house, do you just have a shelf full of Dirty Gut?
Not right now.
You gotta get one closet that's just meant for Dirty Gut.
In my dorm room, I have boxes of Dirty Gut stacked everywhere. It was funny when I first did the first production on Dirty Gut. I didn't bring it to a filming center or anything, and so I had just hundreds of bags in my room. The entire left side of my room was just boxes of chocolate.
That is that's sick, because one day you're gonna look back at that and you're gonna be like, I literally built this in a dorm. And that's where dorm room to boardroom,
I could plug
the name. Couldn't plug. No. But that's that's the coolest part, I think. That's being entrepreneur.
Yeah. A lot of stuff.
All right, I think we could end with one last question, unless you have anything else to add.
Well, it was something I want to talk about, actually. It's I feel like me, you, Spirit, we're all normal people. I feel like a lot of people think that we're workaholics and stuff, and say all we do is just grind. And from outsider looking in, you would think that all we do is grind the library. But it's you said, have a friend. It's off. It's if you manage your time well, I feel like you can honestly do it all. I kind of want to know your perspective on time management and then balance it, hanging out with friends, socialize it, and also working on your business and knowing when to just lock in on that.
Yeah, I do for the most part. I'm sure it's similar for you, but like I love doing this, so it's not hard to
Exactly.
focus on it for a while. I work until I don't feel like working anymore. Some days I'll work a bit past that, and then I've been like very like this year in particular. I've just gone on a lot of random side quests. Like I'll go on a random side quest, and then I'll come back and I'll work some more. Like I try to work a lot, but I don't. And it maybe to like somebody on the outside, it might feel like there's no like work-life balance.
Yeah.
But like I really enjoy it. I love working, and I still make time for hanging out with people and doing random things.
Yeah.
Or going like I really like going out to dinner with people.
I really love going out. See, I love the biggest. I think that just like it just calms you down. It's so nuts. And being on campus, it's like, oh, let's go to the dining hall, or let's. It just doesn't feel like you're doing real life activities. We went to dinner the other night, and I was like, we should do this more often.
Literally simple.
We did it. We did it last week too, and every single time we all have the same takeaway. We should do this more often.
It's just nice where like become better friends with people to do that thing.
And just communicate. Yeah, just sit there, have a conversation over an actual conversation. I agree. Maybe we'll all go to dinner. Yeah. All right. Last question before this has been great. Thank you for coming on. We this is our second episode. So someone like you coming on is special for us. My last question is: in 5 to 10 years, when you look back on this day right now, where you hope you are, in your career with Dirty Gut, and is there something that you hope comes true? Like one specific thing that in 5 to 10 years you're like, I hope if everything else is bad, I hope at least this is good. Or the way it is. That very poorly asked question, but
I know what you're saying. I think like brand wise, the goal is that 5-10 years from now, you walk into any store in the country, whether it's a convenience store or a grocery store, and you see Dirty Gut on the shelf, like right up against these big chocolate companies, like Energies or that, really making a big splash at the shopping industry.
someone's gonna clip that up and you're gonna be like, oh, you got it.
Hopefully,
That would be sick.
and then I don't know. I mean, the main thing for me is like I love like my friends and my family. Like as long as I have that, I think I'll be fine no matter what that asks. So, round panic there. All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the pod. We really appreciate it.
Dirty Gut is awesome. Anyone listening wants to check it out, where can they find you?
The best place to look would be dirtygut.com or drop a follow on Try Dirty Gut on Instagram. There we go.
All right, well, Daniel, it's been a pleasure. Likewise. Thank you for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, post. Thank you.
Hell yeah.